Hello, everyone. Happy Monday to you, and welcome to my living room. I've got some tea to enjoy this lesson with you, and I invite you as well. If you have some tea or coffee, take a moment, grab a cup, and join me again for week 2 of our ESL lessons online. So far, so good. How are you doing? I hope that you have enjoyed the first week of the ESL instruction. I also enjoyed making the videos for you, and I'm still learning also how to do this effectively and hopefully help you even now as you stay at home and stay safe and healthy. So welcome back. And our goals for today, we are going to finish Unit 7 and do some review. So right now in this first segment, that is my goal for us to finish Unit 7. So for this segment, I'm going to follow the same method that I chose last week during the last segments with you, using the sort of dry erase board behind me, and also a paper pad that I have written some important words and concepts before. So let's begin. And let me first introduce to you the rest of our plan for today after we finish segment 1. So after we finish Lesson F in Chapter 7, we will then continue to Chapter 8. And for the beginning, to introduce Chapter 8, I am going to guide you through another PowerPoint presentation. I would just like to give some variety so you're not so bored just seeing me and seeing this background. But also, sometimes it's easier so that you can pause and spend more time during the PowerPoint presentation if you need to. As well, it's easier for me to give examples and a lot of description and pictures on the PowerPoint slides. So we're going to do that for Lesson A in Unit 8. As well, in segments 2 and 3 later today, I will spend some time to introduce some cultural idioms, and then a cultural lesson, and finally some new vocabulary. And our new topic in Unit 8 is relating to work. So Unit 7 has been about shopping, and Unit 8 we will talk about work. So I don't know, I hope that the Unit 7 PowerPoint, if you were able to see it, I hope that it was helpful for you and interesting perhaps, learning some cultural idioms about shopping and also some American cultural habits about shopping. So I will do the same for Unit 8 regarding work. So let me, first of all, let's take a few moments to talk about the homework from last week. Thank you to those of you who submitted through email. I know this is a different way of doing and getting feedback about homework, but I have received your emails so far, and that is my next goal in the next couple days, to respond to you and give some feedback. So thank you for your effort and your work. I hope you had a good chance to also practice, pardon me for a moment, looking at Unit 7. Maybe you had a chance to practice reviewing some vocabulary and perhaps some idioms, and also making suggestions for the writing assignment at the end of Unit 7. So the homework was to make one paragraph to answer fast food dad, to give your suggestions and your advice. So for those of you who submitted that, I will look at that very soon, I promise. So let's continue on toward lesson F in the student book. And if you are following along in your green student book, I am looking at pages 94 and 95. So let me suggest to you at home, in my personal opinion, these other views, another view, sometimes it's helpful and sometimes maybe not so much. So for this exercise in particular, if you would like, you can pause the video at this moment and take some time to just work through this one. And I think it's really just to think more deeply, perhaps think about other related topics dealing with shopping and money and so on. So just take a few moments to go over those answers to yourself. And let's continue to the next page for the purposes of this video. So we're going to talk for a moment about some collocations. So I have mentioned this word in the past. What is a collocation? So a collocation, let's bring this page back again. Okay, a collocation, just a moment. I need to put my book down and try this way. So a collocation is when two or more words usually go together. And on this page, you will see another group, another list of some common collocations, okay? And in this case, I'm sorry for going up and down. Let me read a few of these to you, and you can listen and repeat. So I am looking at the top of page 95. 95 at the top. And this particular grammar point, we're looking at collocations that include adjectives and nouns. So on the left side, you will see collocations including adjectives. And on the right side, you will see collocations including nouns. So let's look at those together. The first one, using get. The left column using get, and the right column using collocations with take. So we're specifically looking at get and take. So let's read these together for a moment and follow with me. Get dressed. Get engaged. So get engaged or get married. And then get divorced. So all of these three are commonly used with get. Get engaged, get married, get divorced, get remarried. Okay, the next one, get lost or get confused. Okay, the next one, get sick or get better. We're looking at opposites here. Get sick or get better. Next, get upset, get nervous, get tired. So remember, I often mention that American style pronunciation, we often soften the T. And so we call it a soft T. So instead of saying get upset, I will probably say get upset, get tired. So do you notice that? The T is very soft or almost silent with get. Okay, the last part, get a job, get laid off, get fired. Now, ironically, these words we will talk about in the next unit, Unit 8. Okay, so far so good. Let's go to the right side column using take. Take a bus, take a train, take a taxi, take a plane. Okay. All of these modes or forms of transportation use take. Next, take notes, take a test, take a class. So here, what are the nouns here? Bus, train, taxi, class, notes. These are all nouns. Next, take a break, take a nap. If you know the candy called Kit Kat, the chocolate bar Kit Kat, those commercials, they always say, give me a break, give me a break. So it's another way of saying, take a break, have some chocolate. The next one's, take a bath, take a shower. Some people are joking these days. Are you showering during the quarantine? Are you taking baths, or are you wearing pajamas every day? You don't have to answer that out loud. The next one, take a vacation, take a trip. And the last part, take pictures or take photos, or slang, take pics, P-I-C-S. So these are all some very common collocations using get and take. So how about I show you a few more examples using get and take. So let me try my best to hold this for you. And I think, okay, make sure you've got the full view. Okay, let's try this way instead. That's probably better. Yes. Okay, so what I have done is I tried to give you some examples using different verb tenses with these collocations. And some are statements and some are questions. So let's see, number one. I look forward to getting dressed each morning. So do you remember that we talked about using gerunds, that's a verb with ing, using that sometimes as a noun or a habit. So in this case, I'm using, I look forward to getting dressed. Okay. Number two, what tense? I got lost by myself in Seoul, Korea. I think I told you this true story before. So what about got lost? This is past tense. And number three, I hope you will not get sick during the pandemic. Will not get sick. What tense? Okay, yes, this is future tense. And number four, have you ever taken a bus, a plane, a train, and a taxi on the same day? What tense is this? Taken is a past participle, so we know that this is the present perfect tense. Okay, I'm going to move down a little bit. Sorry for this. Number five, I'm taking a trip when this global pandemic is over. I'm taking a trip when this global pandemic is over. So what tense? I am taking. Now, something to point out to you about this expression, I'm going to come back for a moment. Am taking is usually present progressive tense. But when is this event happening? Is it happening now or in the future? So if you notice the clause beginning with when, when this pandemic is over, that is describing future tense. So sometimes we can use the present tense to describe the future tense. Okay, let's see another example below. Okay, number 6. This is a question. Do you usually take pictures of people or places? Do you usually take pictures of people or places? The word usually, this indicates a habit, doesn't it? So, what tense is this one? Do you usually take pictures of people or places? This is a present tense sentence describing a habit. Okay, and the last example. Sadly, many people are getting laid off during the pandemic. Sadly, many people are getting laid off during the pandemic. So what verb tense is this? Are getting ing, you tell me. Yes, this is a present continuous tense. Okay, and I feel very fortunate to still have a job. I know a lot of people who have lost their jobs during this pandemic. What about you? So that is a little bit, some more examples using the collocations with take and get. So do you have any more questions about that? Perhaps you can write down any questions that you have and send me an email. So if you remember, my email is Carey Waldrop at gmail.com. Okay, and my phone number is right here also, and yes, I can receive texts. Okay, so I think that these collocations are useful. It's important to remember and learn these words together, meaning these words usually go together. Okay, so those are a few more that I could give you. All right, now for a few moments, since we are at the end of Unit 7, let's take a few moments and talk about what we have learned. So in this chapter, we have learned some new vocabulary, we have learned some cultural idioms, and we have learned some grammar points. So I'm going to take a moment and remind you about some vocabulary that we have learned. Okay? And looking at the top, you notice the vocabulary. Let's review these words again. We have afford, balance, cash, credit, okay, debt. This is a balancing game because it's opposite on the computer screen. Okay, financing. Let's try it again. Okay, interest, pay off, and suggest. Okay, so if you remember, afford can be a verb or, well, this is only a verb. Balance can be a noun or a verb. Okay. Cash can be a noun or a verb. And we talked about cash has other expressions such as cash in and cash out. Okay. Credit. Credit can be a noun or a verb. And I gave some examples last week. Debt is a noun. And we talked about how this word is different from debit card. That is a specific noun. Okay, looking next at financing. This can be used as a noun or a verb. Interest. We mentioned that this is different from interested in. We mentioned pay off. This is a phrasal verb. And suggest. And the noun form is suggestion. So this is a verb. So in this chapter, we also mentioned about giving advice or giving suggestions. Okay, pardon me a moment. Okay. The next part we can see here are compound nouns. So we mentioned a few other examples last week, but these are in the book. Credit card, debt counselor, family budget, interest rates, and minimum payments. Okay? Our time has gone quickly in segment 1. So after we will pause here for a moment, and let's come back. I will continue a little bit more review from Unit 7 and to do some review with our idiomatic expressions, and also a little bit of the grammar review from Unit 7. Okay, so thank you, and I will see you in a few moments.